property tax classification hearing, as we must have every year, to decide whether we're going to have a single rate or a split rate. So I'm going to see. Okay, so if you can see my little screen, I think I've changed it to a PowerPoint. Maybe. Anyway, so we have a. I'm sorry. All right. So the purpose of the classification hearing is that we must, we have 4 categories into which to classify all taxable property in town: residential, open space, commercial, and industrial. Real property. And let's see. And the selectmen have the duty to vote on whether to have a single rate or to shift the tax rate to one of the categories other than residential. And we've had to comply with the open meeting law by posting this meeting as a joint meeting, I guess, for the purposes of this tax classification. And it has been posted in accordance with the open meeting law. Right. So very simply, we the Board of Assessors have voted against recommending an adoption of a split rate or residential, small business, or open space exemptions due to the limited number of properties that qualify. So essentially, that all classes of real property in Plympton will be taxed at a single rate. They all pay the same rate regardless of their value, and that will be fiscal 2023. Now, here are just for your FYI is the tax allocation burden between fiscal 2023 and fiscal 2022. You can see residential, takes up the bulk of the tax levy. It's about 74 to 75%. Then we have commercial, industrial, and personal property, and they all add up to the total value of tax property in town. So you can see the rates have shifted a little from the past year, but not by significant amounts. So ultimately, the Board of Selectmen must move 4 questions for this hearing. The first, the residential factor; second, residential exemption; the third, open space discount; and the fourth is small commercial exemption, and the language is there. That you would need to move and vote upon. And so, essentially, what we recommend is that you move to approve the residential factor of one, which means that all 4 classes of property get taxed at the same rate. We ask that you move not to grant a residential exemption, not to grant an open space discount, and not to grant a small commercial exemption, because the properties that could benefit from that are very few. And so with that, I believe it's up to the selectmen to take action on these items that I've just discussed.
All right. Thank you, Ethan. All right. So I'm going to read the notice of the tax classification hearing. And this is for Monday, December 19th, 2022 at 6:15 p.m. Obviously, we're late. It's about 7:05. As required by Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, Section 56, the Town of Plympton Board of Selectmen will hold a fiscal year 2023 property tax classification hearing. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting of the Plympton Board of Selectmen will be conducted via remote participation. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Plympton website, town.plympton.ma.us. You may join via the Zoom, via audio, video, or by phone. All the information has been posted on the hearing notice. We've got passcodes and all of that as well. You will then be joined in the meeting. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we're unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Town of Plympton's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. The purpose of the public hearing is to consider the percentage of FY 2023 tax levy to be borne by each class of taxable real and personal property. The public hearing requires a vote by the Board of Selectmen for allocation of property tax classification. All persons interested in the determination may participate and be heard at the time and place stated above. So before we take any action, is there anyone from the public on the call that would like to speak on this matter? All right, hearing no voices and seeing no hands. Your recommendation, Ian, let me make this. So before I make any motions, John or Mark, do you have any questions for Ethan or Wendy?
I do not.
No questions for me.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion to approve the residential factor of 1.00. Should we do all the motions at once, Ethan, and then one vote?
I think it'd probably be best if you did each question separately.
Okay. All right. So we've got a motion to
I'll second it.
the residential factor of 1.0. Second, John, roll call vote. John Trainer,
Yes.
Mark Russo,
Yes.
Christine Joy, yes. I'll make a motion to not grant a residential exemption.
Second.
Second, roll call vote. Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
Mr. Russo,
Yes.
Mrs. Joy, yes. Motion to not grant an open space discount.
Second.
Roll call vote. Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
Mr. Russo,
Yes.
Mrs. Joy, yes. Motion to not grant a small commercial exemption.
Second.
Roll call vote. Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
Mr. Russo,
Yes.
Mrs. Joy, yes. Okay. Anything else you needed from us, Ethan?
No, I believe that concludes our business, the business that we need to accomplish.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we close the tax classification hearing. Do we have a
All right,
second?
perfect.
I'll second.
All right. Roll call vote. Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
Mr. Russo,
Yes.
Mrs. Joy, yes. Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you again for your patience. And
All right.
I apologize for our tardiness.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Please
you.
have a good meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ethan.
Merry Christmas. We won't see you
You too.
again.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right. So Liz, next item on the agenda, I think we had some minutes to take care of.
Yes, and we also, before we get to the minutes, there was for correspondence, Angels Auto is looking to, well, they're not looking to, they are changing their name. We just wanted to mention this to you and notify you that their new license for 2023 that you've already voted on will have their new operating name, which I believe has been shortened.
So what is the new name?
I believe it's just Angels Auto. Is that correct, Bree?
Going to be changing from Angels Auto and Towing Incorporated to Angels Incorporated.
Angels Incorporated.
Thank you.
Great name.
So now if you want to move on to the minutes.
Okay. All right.
Did you want warrants?
Yeah, would love the warrant, Bree. What do you have?
$3,563.74.
All right. Thank you. Liz, did you have any updates for us?
We sent out the next fiscal year budget worksheets, and we're also working separately and somewhat independently with police and fire, since the format for everybody else, it's not going to work quite as well for police and fire. So we're coming up with special arrangements for them, and looking forward to getting started with that process in January.
All right. Thank you, Liz, for that. All right. So we've got the regular session minutes from December 5th. John and Mark, did you get a chance to read the minutes?
I
I
did.
did.
I'm
and
fine.
Fine.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion that we accept the December 5th meeting minutes as written.
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
Mr. Russo,
Yes.
Mrs. Joy, yes. Okay. Well, I'll say first before we, because we're going to be going back into executive session after this. Our next meeting will be on January 9th, followed by January 23rd. John or Mark, do you have any raves you'd like to share?
Just backing up, do we have the November 30th open meeting?
Yes, thank you. I was just going
We
to say.
have to approve them as well.
Oh, great. Thank you, Mark. Okay. Did you guys both get a chance to read those?
I did.
Okay. Everything looked good?
All right by me.
Okay. All right. Mark, they were okay with you too?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll make a motion that we accept the regular session minutes from November 30th as written.
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
Mr. Russo,
Yes.
Mrs. Joy. Yes. Great. Thank you. Thank you for that important housekeeping item. All right. Any raves?
Not tonight.
Maybe I do. We've had a difficult executive session, and we as selectmen are confronted with difficult situations along the way and challenging decisions. Maybe a little bit of an antidote to how difficult that can be sometimes. We are in a season of radiant, sparkling light, and I'm appreciative that there is that to there's a little bit of solace for the challenging things we have to deal with.
My rave would just be to wish everyone happy holidays and peace and love as we finish up 2022 and move into to 2023. All right. So being that we have conducted all of our quick business in open session, I'll make a motion that we go back into executive session. And this is per MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparations for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. And this is specifically the fire chief. So we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
Mr. Russo,
Yes.
Mrs. Joy, yes. All right, so good night, everyone. And upon completion of executive session, we will just be ending our meeting. So we will not be returning to open session. So good night.
Are we using the same Zoom? Okay.
Yeah, the one we were on earlier, John.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night.